Welcome back. We are now 22, Spencer. We're now 22. You know the drill, a yearly video inside the mind of a X-year-old. Today's video is going to be inside the mind of a 22-year-old. Weird to sound, but obviously you never stop growing. I think it's going to be a nice little update on my thinking in general and then just in life. I think it's going to be awesome to see or just look back on in like, even a year's time, but long-term wise, maybe 5, 10 years time, just to look back and see like the progression from 20 to let's say 30, a nice decade. I think it'd be really cool to see how my mind's developed and to see like if any of my opinions or views on certain topics have changed. But yeah, I'm excited to get going with this one. I've got a few topics on my mind that I want to speak about, and these are the ones that it impacted me between 21 and 22, I'd say. So this last year, I'd say this is basically what's inside my mind at the moment. The first one is you can change your situation. And by this I mean, I think I realize there's no, it's similar to the one that I talked about before, where you have, the world owes you nothing. You're not entitled to anything, right? Having that mindset helps you work harder. It links in with that. So it's cool to see how this has progressed, where you can always change your situation. Like, for example's always good. I'm always using a gym one at the moment, but I think it's just easier because that's something I'm focusing on. But also, a lot of people can relate to trying to improve their health. So I think for this one, you can always improve your physique, and by that I just mean your health. Like you can always try and get fitter in terms of, I'm not just saying like, oh, rip six pack. I'm talking just general fitness, including cardio, just general lifting weights, and just keeping your body in a healthy state so you can function daily to an optimal capability, right? I think there's a lot of people that I've noticed just in general, always, whether it be on social media or just walking about, just seeing people complain about their situations and always forgetting that you really do have the power to change a situation. Obviously, I know there's a lot of situations that are harder to change, but people are so scared of trying to fix the change because it takes too much effort. People lack the effort. That's what I'm trying to get at. I'm happy to be aware that I have the effort to improve myself in whatever I set my mind to. I think I'm very driven in that aspect. Like if I have something that I want to improve, I'm doing it. There's no excuses. Obviously, there's days where it's going to be harder for me than others, but there's no excuses. I'm going to get it done. I'm happy with how I've progressed in that aspect because I think it's important to keep yourself in check sometimes. And I'm not saying it does sound like I'm being a drill sergeant with like do this, do that, but it's just me personally. If I'm not seeing any sort of improvement, or if I'm not seeing any situation change in a situation that I wanted to change, it will annoy me to the point where I'm doing something wrong. So I'm gonna try harder and then try harder and harder because I really want to improve that situation, whichever it may be. For example, we just gave the health one. Second point I wrote down was that spread kindness when you can. I think it's really important that in your day-to-day actions you try and spread some sort of positivity or kindness, however you want to label it, in your daily actions, whether it's to the environment, whether it's to people, even to animals, things like that. Just general good vibes to certain objects or people or things really goes a long way because I made another video about this. It's the butterfly effect, isn't it? It spirals. If everyone's giving positivity, then more positivity being spread, and it's just a positive equals positive, 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 and it just keeps going. And it's a nice progression to see positivity just blossoming, because who doesn't like positivity, right? I think if you don't, or if you aren't spreading positivity, what are you spreading? That's why I ask myself, if I'm not spreading positivity, what am I spreading? So I think there's two answers to this. There's either nothing, you're not mentioning anything at all, you're neutral, or negativity. And I ask myself, why would I want to spread negativity when there's so much of that in the world already? So why do I not try and be different and try and help spread more positivity when there's a lack of it? And being neutral, I think there's topics where I am neutral just while still trying to learn about these topics, but the majority of times I'm positive, if not about everything. And in these situations, I talked about this in a previous one as well, where I always try and make the most out of a situation and try and see the positive in any situation. There's a lot of situations where it's hard, don't get me wrong, but it's always about trying to find the silver lining in a cloud, right? Oh, another one that's recently resonated with me over the summer was staying humble. I think it's very important to always be humble. Funny enough, I think I found this sort of mindset from Drake watching one of his little interviews, actually, Rap Radar. The quote that resonated with me was along the lines of, he said in the interview, don't get caught up in the highs just as well as don't get caught up in the lows, because they come and go, right? I think that really resonated with me because it's so true. And there's so many times where I'm guilty of it, where I'm on a super good emotional high and I get caught up in that. I'm really like super into that moment. But unfortunately, you can't always be at that high level of emotions, right? It comes in ebbs and flows, because that's the nature of life. That's the way emotions work. You can't have one emotion your whole life, right? The whole point of his quote really did resonate with me because it's so true and so apparent in not only my life, but I can guess in a lot of people's lives, where we're so caught up in this high, when the lows come, it feels even worse because we were so caught up in these highs. But at the same time, if you reverse it, if you don't get so caught up in the lows, they won't feel as bad because you know that a high is going to be coming eventually. So you just keep riding the wave and enjoy the moments, but don't get caught up in them. That's the best way to find the balance. After summer as well, I think another point that really resonated with me was time really is precious. If you really think about it, today is my last day. I'm going to be 22 on this exact date. For example, it's the 14th of October. This is the only time ever I'm going to be 22, and this very exact moment. I won't get this day again. It's gone. Then you go to the next day and the next day. And so it's really made me want to push and do more things within the day and not waste a day, because I don't get that day back, right? You don't get that day back. I don't get that day back. No one gets a day back. So it's pushed me into new heights of efficiency in terms of in my everyday life, which is nice to see because I'm making more use of that out of that time. It's like, you know, whenever someone's, let's say, successful in terms of money, and they're 40, 50, 60, right? What's their biggest thing that they always say? Oh, they wish they had more time to like spend, because time is the most valuable currency here rather than the money. So I'm always trying to make use of my time, making sure I'm creating my core value, which is memories. I think it's really important to make as many good memories as you can while still being sensible at the same time. And by sensible, I mean not ruining your future while creating these memories. I mean, I think I can speak for most people. It's the last year and a bit has been a wild ride to say, but I'm happy that I've developed resilience. I haven't given up, right? And by that I mean I'm still here, I'm still going, I'm still very motivated to do the things that I want to do, and I haven't given up pursuing any of those things, which is personally I'm proud of. This is what the whole point of this video is. I'm documenting what's in my head inside the 22-year-old at the moment, and this is one of them. I'm proud of where I've come from at the start of this year, especially, to where I am now, which is 10 months later. The resilience that I've developed is really powerful for me, and I think that's a good habit to have going forward. And I'm excited to see how that helps me progress from an early stage of a project to the later stages of pushing through those barriers that come against you. Because a lot of people, I'd say, would shy away when they get presented with a problem. But I think I've pushed through so many problems and I'm still going. The next problem doesn't really bother me. Like I'm always looking for that solution. I always know that there is a solution. I just got to find a way to make it work. And it links in with the point that I said at the beginning. You can always change your situation. I think it's really apparent that you really can, once you put that first step in front of the other and you realize, hold on, I can break this barrier. What barrier can I break next? And next and next. And it goes on like that and that. And it's awesome to see all these barriers being broken, because now not only do you feel unstoppable, sounds like a bit of a cringy word, but unstoppable, I think unstoppable is a good word to say. Like you're excited for challenges because you know that you can overcome them. And I don't think that's cockiness. I think it's confidence. I think it's cockiness if you go around bragging it, but I think it's confidence within yourself and your ability. And that's a very attractive trait as a human being, to be able to show to people through your actions. If you show it through your actions, it's not cocky. It's you just being, like I said, very resilient and confident. Whereas if you go around saying you're bragging about it, that's where the cockiness comes in. So don't shy away from being confident and resilient because of the fear of cockiness. You're just being, in my eyes, like a superhuman. Like you're doing a lot of things and overcoming challenges that people shy away from. So keep at it and keep overcoming challenges and proving not only yourself right, but I guess proving other people wrong, if you want to view it like that way as well. Gratitude. This is the one that I felt heavy on my birthday, actually. It kind of links in with a bit of humbleness, but gratitude was being grateful for where you are right now, but also what you've accomplished so far in terms of just life, like in general, like friends you've made, the relationships you have with those people, you know, little projects you've done here and there, achievements you may have personally. It doesn't have to be public achievements, just personal achievements, inner growth. There's so many different aspects of the word gratitude, that is, I'm happy to say I felt very, very blessed and grateful for where I am right now and who I have around me and what I have around me. I think I'm going into like the age 22 with with a bigger arsenal, and by arsenal I mean a bigger, more powerful mind, and just the aura that I have in life right now is so positive that I'm very confident in going into 22. Another point I want to touch on is progress. Progress to me is very important because I think no matter what you're feeling, and I've mentioned this before, if you make literally the smallest amount of progress in any aspect of life, whether it be like a 0.001% in reading a book, literally reading a sentence. This is a minute example, but even making that step that you didn't do yesterday, that you've done today, makes you feel like you've accomplished something, right? So you can use the momentum from these progressions in certain aspects to carry you on for every day consistently. And it's this consistency that helps you in line with the momentum that pushes you into the new realm that you haven't found before. And I'm not talking some spiritual realm, I'm just saying realm in terms of your own body and your own mindset you like, that you haven't experienced before because you've never had this momentum and used it before. So with reading, for example, let's go with the reading example. If I read one sentence yesterday, the momentum from that, maybe I read 1.5 today, and then maybe the day after I read 2, and then it just spirals, and then a page, and then 2 pages, 3 pages, a chapter. It goes on like that, and you can translate that into any aspect of your life. And that's why I think it's so important. If you're ever feeling like you're hit rock bottom, you're depressed, even if you're anxious and you're not feeling like yourself, if you want to feel like you've accomplished something today, whip a book out. Literally the smallest things. Read a sentence. You might surprise yourself and get carried away and read the whole book. You never know. But it's about making that first step in trying to progress. But even leaving it at that first step of that 0.01%, you will feel a lot better after doing it. And it can even be the smallest of tasks. It could be house errands. It could be cleaning your room. That's why they recommend always clean your room. If you're feeling down with something to do, clean your room. And then the momentum from you cleaning your room, you're like, oh, what can I do now? I'm feeling productive. It's getting your mindset into that productive state is what translates across all of your life, and it spirals into a good state of mind. No one looks at progress and stops, right? No one goes, oh, you know what? I've smashed cleaning my room today. I'm done forever. Like, no one ever stops at progress, right? So always use it to your advantage. It's a psychological trait where if we humans see improvement in something, in anything, it's addictive, right? Because you're improving something within your life. Like I said, it could be anything, but it's an addictive trait to have, because once you get on that wavelength of addicting to progress, and once again, I'll use the word again, you're kind of unstoppable in terms of achieving anything. You can just achieve anything you want if you keep achieving little things here and there. It all adds up eventually. However, I do recognize, I am self-aware that this constant progression chase is a dangerous game to a certain extent, because if you're failing to relax and look after your health and always trying to do something, that's when it becomes dangerous, and I think I am guilty of that. But that's something that I know I'm aware of. I'm happy to be self-aware of that, and something that I'm working on. But for the most part, I think majority of people can use that to their advantage until they hit that certain point, which is when they will become self-aware that they need to maybe take the reins back a little bit, focus on other aspects, your health, make sure you get enough sleep, etc., etc. The last part I want to talk about is adversity. Obviously, this is in links with resilience. If you come across an unpleasant situation that you don't want to be part of, you need to be resilient to push through it. So I think this links in very well with resilience, a nice way to wrap it up. Throughout life, everyone, including myself, will come across some type of adversity, right? Let's give another example. I'm going to work and my car's broken down. It's how you approach the situation is what really determines the rest of your day and your whole mindset on future situations that are similar. And the reason why it's important to embrace adversity, and it's almost like my other video, embrace the mistakes, right? It's important to embrace adversity because you need to be self-aware how you overcame this adverse situation, right? Make a mental note and take in the surroundings. My car's broken down, right? You ask myself, right, there's a couple ways I can approach this, but thinking about it in the most positive light that I can and the most efficient way to fix this issue, I have to accept, right, I'm going to be A, late for work. B, the chance of me getting this fixed on my own, quite slim, right? I'm not a car mechanic. I'm not the most adept in car knowledge. So I ask myself, how do I fix this solution while trying to stay emotionally calm? Because if I'm getting angry, if I'm getting sad, or if I'm getting frustrated, that's not going to help the situation, right? So approaching this adverse situation, I need to remain calm level-headed, because that's the quickest way I can get this sorted. You have to accept you're going to be late for work. You need to accept you might not be able to do this yourself, and you need to ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for the help. So you can either, you have car breakdown covers, you've got AA. I mean, the only one that comes to mind is AA at the moment, but you can call AA, they help you out. Or even, let's say your car battery's dead instead of just breaking down the car. So let's say it's a simple thing where your car battery just run out. Maybe you can flag someone down, they could be able to charge your battery for you from their engine. The whole point I'm trying to make here is staying level-headed in a diverse situation will help you build up your resilience into future situations that are similar. And by similar, I don't mean another car breaking down. I just mean any type of situation that isn't pleasant for you, that isn't ideal. But it's very, very important to try and keep your emotions in check and think about it objectively and take the most efficient steps to completing these or overcoming these situations. And that will help you in the long run. I'm super happy still carrying on this yearly series. I'm happy with the progress that I've made this last year. Happy with, like I said before, very grateful for all the things that are in my life at the moment. Doesn't mean I'm gonna get complacent. Just means I think it's nice to take in what you have every now and then. It's like that quote from the film Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Life moves so fast. If you don't look around once in a while, you might miss it. And so I think it's important to sometimes stop, take a look around, and be grateful for where you are, where you've come from, how you're doing, and ask yourself, just ask yourself how you're doing, how you're feeling. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next year, Spencer, when you're 23. Oof, yeah.